Well, that was a pleasant ride today, all the way from Foy, now to, excuse again my French pronunciation, I'm going to try it, Argelès-Gazost. Now, that may not be anything like how the French say it, but I'm going to call it Argelès. Anyway, this lovely little town, very popular with cyclists because of the famous Col de Busque, which is often used in the Tour de France. It was certainly used last year. When it will get used again, who knows, but they certainly ring the changes. But it was used last year, and it's a spectacular pass. I rode it last year. I was expecting to be taken over it this year, but I didn't go. I might take a ride over it tomorrow morning if I feel up to it. We'll see, because tomorrow I'm off into Spain. This is my last day now in France. I'll be in Jaca in Spain tomorrow. Riding out of Argelès-Gazost, I venture into the Pyrenees mountains. The tarmac begins to climb gently. Travelling on the D918 and passing through the quaint village of Argelès, I head towards the Col de Busque. The bends start to get tighter and the incline began to steepen. It wasn't long before I arrived at the spectacular pass, where I was confronted with dramatic vistas. The higher I got, the more beautiful the scenery became. But you've got to be careful up here. This is dangerous, as the treacherous road runs on the edge of a cliff, and it's a long way down. It even cuts into rock in places. And inside those dark tunnels, the road is really wet and slippery. On the road there was still graffiti left over from last year's Tour de France. After 30 kilometers, I had arrived at the summit, 1,709 meters above sea level, where, fortunately, there was a strategically located cafe. Drinking my coffee, I had time to check out the views. After my rest, I jumped back on the bike, dodging the horse muck and minibuses. And I headed down the other side of the mountain, making my way south towards Spain. There were tight hairpin bends and slow curves to negotiate.
Lower down the mountain, the serpentine road was lined with trees. Before entering the ski resort of Goret. On the D918, riding along a steep-sided valley with long sweeping curves, I was able to make swift progress. It wasn't long before I enter the beautiful old spa town of Au-Bonnet. Riding through a spectacular rocky ravine on the D934, I was getting ever closer to the border with Spain. The panorama opens out to reveal the snow-capped mountains high above the valley floor. The Pyrenees National Park. Oh yes. Absolutely fantastic. A French treasure. Nearing the French border, the topography, though still delightful, is becoming rather more rugged. Then into Spain. No border controls here. Viva España! The rugged terrain continues. Is it me? Or is there something peculiarly exciting about riding through a tunnel? Closer to Jaca, the jagged peaks of the Pyrenees morph into the arable farmland of northern Spain. Not far from my destination now. After a great day's riding, I arrive at my sumptuous hotel on the outskirts of Jaca. I now have the rest of the evening to mull over one of my best days on a motorcycle ever, and plan tomorrow's trip to Estella.
Well, that was an excellent ride yesterday, all the way from Argelès-Gazost to the Spanish town of Jaca, riding over the Pyrenees, including the Col de Busque, the famous col they use on the Tour de France from time to time. It was a very dramatic ride. I'm not expecting such a dramatic ride today on the way to Estella in Navarra region of Spain, famous for Rioja, that area. So I dare say I'll be having a glass or two of that this evening. Looking forward to the ride. I think it'll be very scenic, though I'm not expecting it to be anywhere near as dramatic as yesterday. But then very few rides could be as dramatic as yesterday. That's got to be one of the world's greatest motorcycle rides.
If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button and subscribe.